Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for What If Season 2, Episode 7, What If Hela Found the Ten Rings. As always, we'll be going into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, make sure to go check it out before you get into this one. Quick synopsis here. Hela, stripped of her powers and banished to Earth, aka Midgard, comes across a new source of power, the Ten Rings. This episode stars Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, Kate Blanchett voices the voice of Hela, Jeff Bergman voices Odin, who is normally Anthony Hopkins, Fyodor Chin voices Zhu Wenwu from the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings movie, originally portrayed by Tony Leung. Lauren Tom voices GIG, and Idris Elba returns as Heimdall. So, uh, kind of like very similar to the Captain Carter Hydra Stomper episode. This one takes two previous kind of movies, which is really the plot of the first Thor movie and also the Ten Rings, and kind of smashes them together to see what we would get out of that. And I think what we got was a really, really fun episode. First of all, Hela, I feel like it's a very underutilized character from the films. I think she should have been doing more. She should have been a bigger bad. As much as I love her in Thor Ragnarok, like I really wanted to see more of that character. Kate Blanchett is fantastic in the role, so having her come back to voice Hela, it's really really great. It's a really fun turn to the character. It's definitely a very similar arc to what Thor experiences on the first film, where Hela has to become worthy of her powers in a different way than Thor had to become worthy. Really interesting stuff. Also, this really shows that Odin has just been terrible to all his children. They all deserve better. Odin is a terrible dad, and I think even though we already knew that, this episode itself really dives deep into that. But it's really cool to see Wenwu in back in before any of the modern times that we see in the Shang-Chi film. Really cool to explore a lot of those same um, ideas and themes of getting to the hidden forest. Morris shows up, which in this episode he doesn't really have a name because the Mandarin hasn't been isn't there to really name him, right. So it's really really cool. So yeah, it starts with Odin banishing Hela to Earth. The story is very similar, right? Hela was Odin's sword, pretty much, to conquer the realms, but her ambitions kept going. So instead of vanishing Hela to hell, like we know in the original story, she is vanished to Midgard, and her crown there's a spell put upon that she must learn how to show mercy in order to be worthy of wearing her crown and of having her powers. Um, but of course, in this iteration, Wenwu is kind of ruling the world, really, as with the Ten Rings, and runs into Hela's power. They run into each other. They have a very interesting relationship where I almost thought they were going to kind of pair them up, and Hela was going to eventually betray Wenwu and steal the rings. This is not that, which I think they went in an even better direction. Feel like that would have been the easy story, that Hela betrays Wenwu, steals the rings, but instead they kind of made them allies, and they sent Hela to train with in their realm behind the hidden forest where Shang-Chi's family lives in the movie. Um, so she trains there with Jiayi, who shows a lot of the same moves that we saw Michelle Yeoh's character portray, and a lot of that stuff is kind of transferred over to the current Guardian there. But of course, they are Guardians. They're not going into battle. They're not an army, so they won't follow Hela, but they will take her in, train her, and teach her teach her their ways, which is still very cool. It changes a lot in Hela's attitude. I think the character design of Hela goes through a lot of changes from when we first meet her with the normal outfit to when she's stripped of her powers. We get a really cool scene where we mirror the way she destroys Mjolnir in the film, where Odin destroys the hammer in this episode. Very similar to when that scene. So very cool parallels. I think this second batch of episodes that we're getting in the back half of the season is really taking advantage of the what if formula, which is really like, let's take a couple things we already did and smash them together, see how they work out. So yeah, really cool stuff. I don't believe this one had any kind of teaser. I just watched it today, but it's been such a day that my head's kind of all over the place. I don't think this one had a bigger teaser, but I would not be surprised to learn that this new iteration of Hela, this almost like Hela the White, if you will, she attains this new power once she finds mercy. Once she is merciful to Odin, um, that her outfit completely changes. You'll probably see it through one of the pictures in the video. Really cool stuff. We get to see a lot of really cool fights of like Odin taking on both Hela and Wenwu with the 10 rings and Hela's new training power. Really interesting visuals because of course the combination of Asgard and Shang-Chi really lends itself to uh, produce some really cool visuals and some just really cool designs, fights, just really everything kind of clicked on this one too. This second half has had some of my favorite episodes. I really enjoy the Captain Carter one. I really enjoy the Kahori one. So yeah, they just really have been getting better. And I know there's a few things that are coming up. We know that we have the 1602 one that's coming up that I know is going to be really good. So very excited for this. Very excited for the rest of the season. We only have a few episodes left, so I can't wait to get to that. So if you have seen this episode, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here on the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.